I mean, I have nothing but like respect and enjoyment about seeing all the women out there riding. I have made some of the closest friends I'll ever make through riding motorcycles, because that track riding mentality is so different and not many people experience it. So, when I go somewhere and I see women riders and I see, women being out there being competitive and having fun. I mean, that's the big piece of it, right? Too, is like not just the competition. Like you want to make sure nobody is making money in this, really. So I think it's great. And I love seeing Kayla out there working hard and, bringing attention to it and all that they're doing with Build Train Race and, with the women's championship on the world stage. I think it's really showing that women ridership are a huge demographic. I mean, they're adding more to the sport than we had realized, I think, for a long time. And the motorcycle community is finally coming around to that.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. I definitely I enjoyed the WCR this year, and I'm glad it's there. And it's one of those things when I looked at it, because I when I thought about the riders from the U.S. that were there, they're like veterans essentially, which it makes sense because it's the first year, and they've kind of paved the way for the young riders. But do you think a lot of young female riders are going to start looking to go to the WCR stage or the world stage?
I sure hope so. I mean, I hope that this is just an avenue to have more women overall involved. I mean, what I love about Kayla is, and I'm not saying that others haven't done this, but like Kayla is there for the riding, period. Like she is there to ride and beat as many people as she can. And, and that includes sponsorships and things like that, but she is serious business about what she does. And I think, women in the past have had to use other avenues to bring attention to it, which is great because they did, right? Like, so you think about Shalina Marita, who would do she did the makeup commercials, but she did them while she was riding her motorcycle. Like, that's amazing. That brought, women to be like, whoa, who is it? And I met her and she was so sweet. And so I think, we've evolved to the fact that Kayla can just be a rider now. Like, she doesn't have to be all these other things. And I love that we're getting to that point. I mean, it's not that I don't support women that want to do all of that as well. But Kayla can make it work with what she's doing, and that's awesome.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's great to see as well, as far as even like they gave her a ride without, there was no, if people were talking about it, I didn't see like saying she's a woman and stuff like that. It just, she had the skill set and they put her on a Ducati and she's been amazing. I mean, she was amazing in other classes too. But this year she was amazing. Which is great to see because, and I tend to see this with older guys that have issues. I was my daughter plays tennis, and she was on a tennis court with her coach, and there was an older guy in his 80s, and he was talking to me and stuff like that. And then one of his buddies called him on the phone, and he had it on speaker. And the amount of things that his buddy was saying about women, and I had to walk away. It was just kind of like, it's one of those things like, so I know older people, 60, 70, 80, whatever. It seems like they're still stuck in a different time.
Yep, absolutely. I completely agree. I felt it a little bit at some of the vintage orcs. When I raced with Armo, when I got fast, I was accused of cheating. And so, it's like, but I just can't be fast because I put the work into my racing. So, I think there's this, I agree that there's still this mentality of it, but I do feel such a large wave of the support for women in it. Yeah. And coming from all walks of life. I mean, if you were to ask anybody at any of our track days, they love the amount of women that are out there, and half of them, are getting passed by our women. So it's great.
Oh, definitely great to see. And for, women listening to the show and hearing this, what advice would you give to, females that are trying to get into riding, whether street riding, track riding, or racing?
Just do it. Just give it a try. I think everybody's, they're nervous about this and they're nervous about what their partner might think, or they might, and if those are any barriers, just, if you want to do it, go and do it. I have a woman that, I'm a fitness coach on the side, and she, on her 50th birthday, decided to go get her motorcycle license and got licensed. And now she rides all around. And it's just, it it's never too late. There's so many resources for not only learning to ride, but then getting on track to ride. So I'm like, Nike summed it up. Just do it. And don't worry about, I think that's the biggest thing I hear from people is I worry, oh, I'm going to get in the way, or, oh, I'm this. Like, don't worry about it. Everybody started somewhere. Every person that you see in our Black group started somewhere. They did not get fast. Trust me. I saw a lot of them before they got fast. Nobody goes out and does like Black group pays right off the bat. So, everybody starts somewhere.
Right.
And a lot of times we'll like invite people, if they're really nervous, I'll say, just come to our track day to see how it feels before you try it. You can sit on some classrooms and stuff. And I think they come and they're just like, oh, this is great. Everybody is really friendly and nice. Yes. It's not going to be all these people like, I'm coming to get you,
Right, yeah.
So, but I've had women reach out to me, and I'm always happy to talk to people about getting into riding and what bikes to choose and things. And there's so many options now. I've loved watching. When I first started doing track days, an SV was considered a small bike.
Right.
And it really weren't. But now with all these options of 400s, 390s, but that's not just it. I mean, if somebody wants to start on a larger bike, that's okay too. It's just more options for track bikes.
Yeah,